So often, couples address these very big issues and they think that they have come to some understanding, only to realize, like them in the middle of a dinner, that in fact each of them heard something completely different.
Do you guys want to sidebar this till after dinner? Or...
Did we have two different conversations?
This is suddenly a very intimate moment between two people in a very public setting. And what we do in those situations, we change topic, we go and freak out in the bathroom, we start talking about the wine. There is this tension between, do we stay on the topic or do we kind of deflect it, recreate the boundary between the public and the private and say, you take this thing home and we continue with our lovely dinner.
So when did you decide that you're just never converting?
I thought you said I choose you.
I do choose you.
But
I was just...
only if I convert.
This couple is in bliss but stuck. They've got everything going, but there is this major obstacle that they're constantly butting against. And suddenly, in the midst of the obstacle, she notices the night table. And the night table is the perfect deflector.
Well, I saw you kept building that tower of all your stuff, so I got you a nightstand.
It's like he sees her. He saw the tower of stuff. He bought her a night table. It doesn't matter if it's a table or anything else. It's an act of, I see you and I give to you and I'm generously reaching out to you. And I think of you and I want to be there for you. And it deserves all the tension. And in the moment, the bliss rises. And at the same time, the obstacle just gets pushed down a little bit, but is still there. Every time they do nice things for each other, they reaffirm their connection and the love story.
I don't want to deal with this.
I don't want to deal with it either.
But they remain challenged by the life story.
Let's just enjoy being together.
Okay. We will have to eventually.
Here we have the situation where Morgan is bringing her first boyfriend since her divorce to meet her family. And she calls him Dr. Andy, which in itself is a red flag. Dr. Andy has been her therapist until when they actually had a closure session. And he's still presented as the person who understood all her traumas and all her challenges. And that feeling of being seen by him is at the root of her falling in love with him. But there is a very sacred line that exists. And that line is not to be crossed. It is what provides the safety of the therapeutic space. That is a very big no-no.
You know, why do you think I waited to tell you I fell for Andy, okay? Because I knew that you would be judgmental about how we met. Not that you've even noticed what's going on with me because you're too caught up in your own relationship. You know what? You'll suck.
Most of the world and recent history, we never chose our partners. And the opinion of the family was everything. And here we're at the edge of discussing, does the family even have a right to an opinion? Who gets solicited and who gets to barge in and just say what they think rather than being asked for their opinion. And that is kind of the ground on which all of these scenes and situations are being played out.
Dr. Andy asked me to move in with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Part of her is so flattered, but there's a part of her that knows better. And so she's asking Sasha, what do I do? But the moment she's with him, she's completely flooded and invaded. That's what love bombing does.
His love for me is like all consuming.
It eradicates the boundary that allows you to have a separate experience from the other person. It becomes a one and the same experience, what the other one is doing to you and wants you to feel.
Okay, well then slow it down. You know, there's no rush.
Very, very simple line and something that is very difficult to do when you've been hungry, longing for love, wishing for someone to make you feel lovable. All of these, in effect, have very little to do with love. They're about fear. They're about the fear of being rejected, the fear of being unlovable. So I am quite concerned about this love bombing. This scene perfectly shows a major cultural shift.
I thought we grabbed your key back.
Don't worry, I made a copy.
Historically, it's the family that's at the center. The hierarchy is very clear. Who should ask for permission? I'm the mother. And here you have the wife basically saying, who barges in like this into my private space? What private space? It's our space. You have this phenomenal conversation about boundaries. Who gets to come in and out? Is it a thick line or is it a porous border that just allows free access?
I am gonna need that key back.
No,
and she knows that she has trespassed.
Promise I'm not trying to do bathroom talk, but you've been in there for a while. Is everything okay?
So here she sits in the bathroom, waiting for this huge answer that could change her entire life.
I'm not pregnant.
And she's relieved. She hasn't wanted it. She's getting to be on the cusp of being an empty nester and sees her freedom reemerge on the horizon and her autonomy reclaimed. And he walks in.
Yeah, babe, I don't want to keep trying.
Right now or ever?
What often happens in a couple is that you have one person who goes for the yes and one person who goes for the no. As if the person who goes for the yes doesn't have reservations and fears about the loss of freedom. And as if the person who says no doesn't have any of their own longings that perhaps they would have wanted another child. When in fact, both sides inhabit each person.
So what do we do now?
Just like live.
She gets the clarity and she knows that there is no part in her that wished the result had been different.